Alright, welcome to my channel. I'm going to try something I've never done. Now I start the slideshow, it's called. And this way, people don't have to look at me. They can look at the 32 Dodge, for instance. That's in perfect running and driving condition for the most part. I'm still working on the brakes. And the DeSoto Fireflight, 29 struts. Okay, widen this out. There we go. All right. What did I want to? Well, what I wanted to talk about was all these videos. I want to leave this one. I'm hoping to be the last one I do for a little while, maybe. But oh man, I might want to do more. I definitely might want to do more. 47 Indian, 46 Indian. The red one is a 46. The blue one is, the red one's the customer's. The blue one's mine. My trip to Oli. Gosh, I could just talk about the pictures. But I had something I was going to say. I know I did. Yes, I was going to say that because of upcoming surgery, gosh, I can just watch people clicking off right now. Just click, click, click. I don't want to hear any of this stuff. It's made me extra self-conscious and extremely reflective. And so pretty much every video, I'll let you know. So I've been extra, in touch, and I've really put a lot out there in my videos. My first attempt to make videos, 1924 Nera car, unrestored, original, service to run perfect, and that makes it 102 years old and still delivering its rider to the destination required. All right, I can't either that or people are going to have to hang in. Oh my goodness, I'm already up to 4 minutes. Oh gosh. So I've got an upcoming thing. The recovery will not be so bad, and I'll make a full recovery. It'll be full and complete. It's not going to affect me in any way negatively. So that's good, and so that could be several months. And I was trying to get a few of these videos out, and I leaving them is pretty bold of me, I think. I think I'm pretty brave. Oh, I love that bike. Oh gosh, I hated selling that. I needed the money. Boy, it's such a nice little 1964 moped in absolutely pristine condition. Oh gosh, that was such a nice addition to my collection. But I needed the money. Okay, so what is it I'm saying? I'm saying that I'm liable to be going back to pretty much get into that, but we're already 6 minutes in. Oh, man. How I've come to realize the things that I've realized. How have I come to know what I know? I think that it's a good story. I think it's a long story, and there's a lot of elements to it. How much can I share right now is the question. In order to, I want to leave on a high note, at least whatever videos I'm leaving out, because like I said, going in, there's no plan on this. I just wanted to talk free. The things that YouTube will tell me about the videos, I can just, because they make more sense than I do. So, or at least they make it easier to understand maybe than I do. That AI is some pretty wicked stuff, huh? Pretty wicked, that AI. All right, so else that I have to say, it's going to be a couple weeks yet before I go in for the thing, and little bits of information can I release. Anybody that's willing to hang in here through 9 minutes and 28 seconds from this little bit of tidbit, they deserve a treat. So I will tell them, I certainly do remember my planning day. I remember that day very clearly. Should I describe that, or leading up to it, or what it led to? Because of course, leading up to it was childhood trauma that created an issue. I did want to mention, because I know that there's got to be, I know there's people that I don't know that are watching this, and girls, and young women, and older women, and everybody in between. And I have never experimented, and I want to. And so that's the whole kind of thing that's going on here. And then I went and had to be honest, because we have to be, if we want to be believed, if we want to be taken seriously. I think it's important that we tell the truth. I could twist truths and outright lie. Outright is the only profession really that comes in real handy and is actually a big plus. And Trump totally stumbled into it. I'll just mention him briefly. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry that I even bring it up, but he totally stumbled into that. He didn't realize all those years that all his lying is an asset when you're in politics. The better liar you are, the more way you can present yourself and pretend that you're telling the truth, or you're actually just totally making stuff up. He's really good at that. So he just found his niche, that's all. And nature pushed him along, as it will. And there you go. And off and running. Anyway, back to whatever the heck I was trying to say. Childhood trauma led to planning day difficulties, which then led the subconscious and nature working together, gave them a problem. It gave the regular system that's in place. It's mostly an automated system. I like that. I always am looking for validation for what I'm saying. How much do I give? How much do I, without the whole story? See, I kind of hate putting out little bits of the story without the whole story. And I got quite a story. Soon going to be, why talk about it? So what, 18 years, I'll be 90. So what does that give me? Does it give me 10 years? Does it give me 18? Does it give me 5 good years? Because I feel like I'm in my 30s right now. Maybe 50s or early 50s or something, because of maybe I get a little tired and I don't have quite the energy I had when I know that's true. I don't have the energy I had when I was 30, that's for sure. 30 or 35, which is what a lot of this, the things that I wrote were from that era. Do I tease with with what I know? What do I know? How about, I love this video. I did a 10-minute video. Maybe I'll put this on as my last video. This one might be my next to the last video. Rain. That's all I did. I just let it rain and let nature sing its song with its raindrops. About 5 or 6 minutes. I just let it rain, and yeah. Isn't that like, to me, that is just like, I don't know, it's like soothing. It's okay. Back to the slideshow. Yeah, it had to do with trying to make things work out. Oh gosh, all the stuff that I could address. That's an '85 Mercedes. I was just thinking about that today because I'm so broke. and I got to do something, and I just can't keep selling my favorite stuff. I mean, I hated getting rid of that moped. I loved that moped. That thing, I mean, it was only a moped, but geez, it was a 1964 in mint condition with the little plastic toolbox still strapped behind the seat, and I got it running perfectly, and it was just such a nice little mint condition thing. Got my first race set when I was 10 years old, and I've been collecting ever since. And that particular race set this is a 39 Peugeot, by the way. It's a 39 Peugeot, which that means it made it through World War II, which means it made it through the occupation of France, because it's French. And that means it was either hidden in a basement or used by the French resistance. I like to imagine it was used by the French resistance. That is a Monet Gaillon. Another French, is it? Anyway, that's a racing motorcycle with a race history. And yeah, that one, they're both sold because I needed the money. I always need the money. But I don't know. I might just take out another home equity line or something and just somehow get back to where I'm not so completely broke all the time. Then I can do some more. For one thing, there's at least 4 or 5 motorcycles I'm interested in on Facebook right now. I love to collect. I love the experience. I like to experience what it was like. That was my regular car for 2 years. I drove that as my regular car, although I still had the 85 Mercedes. I was going to say the 85 Mercedes was my modern car, and it came in real handy to take out a bank loan because I could do a no docs loan on it, and because the book on it was so high. It has a really high book just in regular condition, and mine was in excellent mint condition. So I always like to take the head off and find that when you're working on something. I love that 6 Chevrolet here for the humpback trunk. They called that the humpback. It was the first year that they incorporated a trunk as part of the body of the car. It was also the first year for hydraulic brakes. So it was kind of a modern car in that respect, and it would do 60 miles an hour. But another one, and this one I sold to a friend of mine, so at least that's still around. The Solex was in really nice shape and very rare being blue. There's the Monet Gaillon racing motorcycle. That's a Horex. It looks like I'm just going to narrate. What the hell? And then I'll be there's a Sears Allstate Puch, P-U-C-H. The Horex was great. That's a German motorcycle, and I remember what size that was, 350 or 500. And I love that little old Jawa. That was kind of cool. Because I had the three-wheeler is based on the Jawa, that one there. So I kind of like having the Jawas. And then you'd be a 1941 Lincoln Zephyr with a 12-cylinder. And there's the 4-cylinder. There's the 36 again, my 36 Chevy. That's a 1912 Model T. That's Clients. And I did a real nice. I was very happy with the way that came out. It came out better than mine. I got his running better than mine. I was so jealous. I got that thing running so good, and it came to me totally not run at all. It had no compression and all that. And then there I sold that to a guy down in a kid. I mean, I call him a kid. He's probably 19 or 20. I think he was just starting out in business, and he wanted to use that as his car to drive to work and back. And I said, I don't see why not. A buddy of mine did most of the work. Bridget, that was a 1972 with a 1959 front end on it. So it was a modern 72 MG midget with an Austin Healey Sprite body or look to it. WLA, so that's an Army issue, civilianized, they call that. And one of the Ole shows, I go every year, once a year to Ole. Yeah, I probably just should have done this from the start and not just looked at the Autoette in the videos, or the 95 Harley Davidson anniversary edition. Ultra Glide, Electric Glide is what it's the anniversary edition of, 30 years of Electric Glide. And my 82 Silverwing, 24 Nera car. We'll start to learn them after a while, won't we? And there I am on a visiting somebody. On the end, that's the last year. That's the 53, and that's very rare and valuable. And that's a Yamaha 250 before they started bringing them into the States. So that's was brought in by the very first Yamaha dealer in the country. First one was in California. The second one was right here in Pennsylvania, not far from me. I picked that up from a guy's barn, and that's I want to say 26 Chevrolet. And this is a porcupine motor. That's what they call that. They call that the porcupine motor. That's all handmade in 1899. That is 1899. And he drilled and then tapped and then screwed in all those studs. And you can see that my race set hobby manifested into this huge layout upstairs in my playroom, and I can lift that off. There's a pool table underneath there, and I can and that thing is on ropes, and it will lift up. And the 26 Chevy, I'm pretty sure it's 26. I did all that wood. I turned it into like a Haney mobile or something to make it fun to drive. And I could have just been narrating. All right, so I'm up to 25 minutes. Am I going to expect anyone to, well, I don't know. We got interesting pictures to look at. But yeah, I'll definitely be putting out more. But insights, which is probably a better thing to call it than philosophy, because it's not philosophy. I have insights. I have insights that probably very few or maybe nobody has. There we go. There's the 1899 Knox, K-N-O-X. And it took me a while to figure it out. It hadn't run in over 50 years. It had been in a museum. And it's pretty interesting because it's all handmade. 2 or 3 people in a garage. And I think they made 10 total. Officially supposed to be a 1900 model year. But this one was made before 1900, so we can call it 1899. And yeah, it had a lot of interesting stuff about it. Should I even talk about that? They had the accelerator right here. In order to drive it, when you give it the throttle, it also advances the timing all at the same time, which made it very difficult to start, because usually you want to retard the timing to start it and give it a quarter throttle or so, but you couldn't do that. So I ended up drawing up a whole starting procedure that works. And now they used to call me to start it at shows, but now they can start it themselves. Yeah. There's the, yeah. One is throttle and one engages it. As far as to make it go. All right, there it is. 23-piece silver dollars, because that's a 1923, and we're making a race car out of it. But an independent that wants to race, so he makes all his own stuff, and of course with straight pipes short like that, you have to have covers over them, and so that's how that works. And that is a 23 Franklin. That's air-cooled with individual cylinders. It's like a motorcycle. It has 6 individual cylinders. I was fascinated by this hood ornament that Nash. This is a 47 Nash. You see, I like a rare and unusual. Mostly I like original condition, unrestored. That's where that was my 32 Dodge when I got it, and this was a real borderline for me because I like original unrestored. Now, can I drive that around without repainting it and everything? And of course, that one I got was already redone, and that's original paint on that. Turns out I didn't realize it for a while, but that's original paint on the 23 Buick. And then that is this is a '06 Orient buckboard. There's my snow blower on my, and it worked great. I love that snow blower. And there's the 23 Buick. That's a 1914 T down at the museum. And there's the Harley I worked on, the civilianized. And there's a Maxwell. The idea is once you get them tuned in right, everything adjusted correctly. There's the Maxwell. Then the Hupmobile is the other one. Yep. Then once they're, that's a Sears there. 1910, but look how dated it is with a tiller wheel in 1910. They sold that through the catalog. Yeah. All right, so I didn't think I was going to be doing this. I thought I was be talking about something else. There I am. And here we are at Ole. That's where I get to have people fawn over all my old stuff. And she wanted to ride. And I had no objection. So that's where, when I got the DeSoto, it had been in a barn for over 20 years, but it had run as much as I think just 10 years ago it had been running. I put a battery in it just to see where my starting point was, and darn if the lights didn't even all come on. All the dash lights came on, and but it was a lot of work to service this car back in there I am with my brand new wide white tires. There it is, serviced back into good running condition, nice running condition. Buckboard. My client in '06, this was, I think, the most popular, either the most popular or the second most popular. See, Model Ts didn't come out until '08. So that's a Model T motor there. That's my 26, because only 26s and 27s had the wire wheels. You get back behind the 26 or 25 and back, all the way back to '08, would have wood wheels. And as the 32 Dodge, got it all working good. Rambler, 1902. That was made in the 50s, mid 50s, by Rambler. Rambler still has had in the 50s all the original diagrams and everything for their '02. So they made an exact copy. It's a 1-to-1. It's not a 5/6 or whatever. These Valley Riverside, and I really I also sold that. I still have that catalog. I'm looking forward to working on that, and that's in one of my videos. How do you like that? How would you like to have that come in your garage, and with it seems to have a slight knocking noise at idle. It was running on all 6 cylinders. It was running like normal on all 6 cylinders, except for a little roughness and like a little, that wasn't totally smooth when you revved it up, but it didn't knock or anything when you revved it up. And it turns out the tops of the pistons were still connected to the rods. And so people that know stuff will know what I'm talking about. So the tops of the pistons with the rings and everything were still working fine. It was the bottoms of the pistons had broken and fallen down to the bottom of the cylinder. And that's how it was running on all 6 cylinders like that. And it was all due to somebody modern working on it. They put the clearance way too tight. They put it the same as you'd put a modern car. That's my 32 Dodge. And yeah, it was a real challenge whether it was in good enough shape for me to drive. Now I'll have to put glass in it, and I'll be putting all new brakes and everything. But yeah, it can be. It's right on the edge of what I would normally. I'll take that that paint that somebody spray painted on there. I'll get that off of there and just leave it all rusty. So you guys that might have already seen the video with the with this Stutz. There's my good buddy Kenny and me in the good old days, and my Yamaha, my 1966 Yamaha Big Bear, which is why I have an affinity for the Yamahas. And here, somewhere, there's a spark plug laying out there on the cylinder where I'm checking for spark. I'm going to clean his points, and he'll be running in no time. And there's my 47 Indian, and there's the 46 Indian, and that's the day I delivered it to the. It was actually my dentist's dad. My dental hygienist's dad had two Indians that he'd had since he was a teenager, and that he paid $100 for one and $50 for the other, and I said, well, I can restore, and so I got paid total basket case 47 for the that's the I'm not going to describe every picture. And there's the 95. All right, so yeah, so the basket case 47 turned into that nice blue 47. I mean, that was a total ground up. That was a lot of work. All right, so are we back to where we started? Wow. I guess we are. 1956. Love that car. Okay, yeah, we're back to where we started. How can I drag this out any longer? We're at 37 minutes, and I'll have to edit it some. 1924 Nash. That's a high dollar car there. And I just sold that for way too cheap. Okay, I'll let that run while I stop the video. Gosh, what else do I have to say? I should say something before it ends. I should say something. I should say something good. How about, catch you next time. How about that? That's a 1948 Autoette. They call that an Autoette. That's the first year for the Autoette, and they made them up to 60 in Riverside, California. And this was made in Syracuse, New York, and also in Birmingham, England. They had two places where they made the Nera car. They only made it up till 24 in the United States, and they made it for a couple years longer in England. Yeah. Okay, so, oh, yeah, all right, catch you later. Maybe that's my new, looking out the window in the, yeah, a buddy of mine wanted me to build him a race set. So I did. And so that he can now bring that down, it goes up against the wall in his garage, and then he can bring it down when his grandkids come around. He can lower it down, and they can have fun. And I took a before, and somewhere there's an after where I fixed all that. And that's one I sold on eBay. That's one I made. And there's that Motorbicane, if I want to talk about it again. Love that Motorbicane. Look at that thing. 1964. There's the M. See it? See the M? That's been cut into. See the toolbox? The toolkit behind the seat? Yeah. I must just be addicted to talking because I can never stop. All right. That's a orthopedia. They call that. 1961. And very, very rare. Okay. That's the carburetor for the Stutz. All right. Am I done yet? And I got plenty of more pictures. This is just what happened to get caught in my loading pictures on the computer from my phone. Point setup on that Nash. On that Stutz. It was pretty cool. All right, I got to stop. It's 41 minutes, and I'm going to edit it down, and maybe I'll release the full thing, and an edited version like I tend to, like what I've been doing. All right, thank you, public, for anybody that suffers through this. Look at that. A stick came through the floor of my truck, and so I've left it there, because if I push it out, it'll just be a hole in the floor. So I broke the limb off underneath the truck, and so it's not going to cause any difficulties or anything for me to leave it there. Okay. Yeah, I think I know we already went through all these. Okay. Signing off, and catch you next time.